I've discovered I have a strange kind of power. Any girl I date ends up finding her one true love. Thanks to this talent, I started a rental boyfriend business, and I've been raking it in ever since. That is, until the campus ice queen came to me with an insane offer I couldn't refuse. But after 6 months, her soulmate was still a no-show. I decided to call it quits and give her the money back, but she just gave me a faint smile. Keep it. I thought I'd gotten off easy. Then she tied me to her bed that night, caressing my cheek. Haven't you figured it out yet? She whispered. My true love was you all along. I watched another betrayal unfold. It was happening in the coffee shop across the street, the one my girlfriend, Jessica, and I used to go to all the time. She was kissing some guy in a blue button-down, her face tilted up to his, completely lost in a moment under the afternoon sun. The guy's hand rested possessively on her waist. But me? I was perfectly calm. I even felt like whistling. Right on schedule. I didn't storm over there. I waited patiently until they broke apart before I pulled out my phone and dialed Jessica's number. Through the glass, I saw her look down at her caller ID, a flash of panic crossing her face. She mumbled something to the guy, grabbed her purse, and rushed outside to answer. Hello, Ethan. You see me? I asked, my tone light. Don't worry about it. Finish up, then meet me at our usual spot. We need to talk. Half an hour later, we were sitting across from each other in that same coffee shop. The atmosphere wasn't awkward at all. It was almost peaceful. Ethan, Jessica started, stirring her latte, her eyes darting away from mine. She looked more relieved than anything. I held up a hand, cutting her off. You know the drill, right? Just confirm for me. It's him? The feeling's right. A blush crept up her cheeks as she nodded vigorously. Yeah, it's him. Her voice was firm. We met in an elective class, and it's just amazing. It's this incredible feeling. She looked at me, her expression complicated. I'm so sorry, Ethan, but you know how it is. You can't control something like this. Sorry for what? I get it. Totally get it, I said, smiling. I pulled a document out of the folder I always carried with me and slid it across the table. Mission accomplished. This is the service termination and final payment agreement. Just look it over, sign on the dotted line if it's all good, and settle the final balance. I take Venmo or cash. Seeing how direct and professional I was, Jessica hesitated, a look of dissatisfaction on her face. She didn't sign. I tapped the paper. Is there something you don't understand? She bit her lip, her eyes swirling with emotions. Did you ever like me at all? All those nice things you did. Was it all fake? I saw this coming. It wasn't the first time. Even after finding their supposed soulmate, some people just can't let go. I let out a sigh. Jessica was beautiful. Half the guys on campus had a crush on her. Any normal guy would have been over the moon to date her, would have cherished every second. Some might have even seen her cheating and begged her not to leave. But my situation was a little different. God, this was always the most annoying part. To give the client the best possible experience, I forced a few tears to my eyes. How could you say that? Are you questioning our relationship? Jessica. I rattled off her favorite things, recounted our shared experiences, everything. I laid it on so thick that her own eyes started to well up. Okay, that was enough. Any more, and this would get messy. I wiped my fake tears away and looked at her with an expression of profound love. That's why. I just want you to be happy. I can only rest easy knowing you're with him. I nudged the agreement a little closer. I know he'll be good to you. Just seeing you happy is enough for me. I even threw in a dramatic sniffle for good measure. That did it. The floodgates opened. Her eyes hardened with determination as she grabbed my hand. I'll be so happy you'll see. She snatched the paper and signed her name without even reading it. Then, she pulled a thick envelope from her purse and pushed it toward me. It's all there. 3,000. Every penny. I hefted the envelope. It felt solid. My mood brightened considerably. Pleasure doing business with you. I wish you two a lifetime of happiness. Jessica looked at me, her eyes red and conflicted. Finally, she couldn't hold it in. Ethan, actually, I shot to my feet, cutting her off. Oh man, my mom just texted. I have to get home for dinner. I turned to leave, but a hand grabbed my arm. Jessica held on, her face full of emotion. Ethan, don't go. Actually, I think the three of us could make it work. My jaw dropped. I yanked my hand back. Are you serious? She nodded, not a hint of a joke in her expression. I can talk to him, and besides, A blush colored her cheeks, and she smiled as she looked up. Who says you can only have one soulmate? We could. That was it. I, a firm believer in monogamy, had to laugh. I've been trying to end this peacefully, give everyone a happy ending. But there's always someone who has to make things complicated. I securely zipped the envelope into an inner pocket of my backpack, and my expression turned to ice. Sorry, not my thing. This was a business transaction. We both got what we wanted. You found your true love, and I got paid. Isn't that a perfect outcome? Why do you have to make it messy? Did you forget everything you agreed to when you signed the contract? My words hit her like a punch to the gut. Her face went pale. Ethan, you... She opened her mouth, but seemed to realize I'd already given her more than enough dignity. The fight went out of her. She managed a small, apologetic smile, picked up her bag, and left. Her steps were light as she ran off toward her new life. I watched her go, feeling nothing at all. My mind was already calculating whether to spend the money on a new gaming PC or drop a few hundred on some in-game loot boxes. There probably weren't many guys in the world who could watch their girlfriend cheat and feel not just calm, but genuinely pleased. But for me, it was just another day at the office. I'm not sure when it started. High school, maybe? I dated a few girls, and without fail, after a while, they'd all break up with me. The reason was always the same. They'd fallen for someone else, their supposed soulmate. They didn't want to lie to me. They felt it wouldn't be fair. Real stand-up individuals. And it was true. After breaking up with me, they all seemed to end up in happy, stable relationships. At first, of course, I was angry and hurt. I thought I was cursed. But after it happened enough times, I started to notice a pattern. A wonderful, magical pattern. It seemed that dating me was the catalyst for them to meet their one true love. When you look at it that way, it's not a curse at all. It's a goddamn superpower. Any girl who is officially my girlfriend would, without fail, meet her soulmate. And I was like a quest-giving NPC there to set them on their path. Mission complete. I make a graceful exit and collect my reward. So, I turn it into a business. My target demographic was clear. Single women who were desperate for true love but couldn't find it. My services were clearly priced. Along the way, I established a few hard and fast rules. Rule 1. No clients who are already in a relationship. I learned this one the hard way. A girl once lied about having a boyfriend. When the truth came out, her enraged ex chased me for 3 blocks with a baseball bat. Scared the hell out of me. Rule 2. No male clients. My preferences are strictly for women. Some guy heard about my ability and sheepishly asked if I could help him out. Before we even started, I caught him giving me a look that was not strictly professional. Rule 3. Deposit up front. This prevents people from finding their soulmate and then ghosting me on the final payment. Business is business. At first, nobody really believed it. But then one of my recent exes ended up blissfully happy with some trust fund kid, and my so-called friends started spreading my legend around campus. My reputation grew. Thanks to this gig, my college life was pretty sweet. While my roommates were scraping by tutoring kids and passing out flyers, I'd already achieved financial independence thanks to the generous fees from my clients. Life was good. I thought my road to riches would be a smooth one, until Chloe Sullivan showed up and taught me a lesson I'd never forget. I didn't have class that afternoon, so I was in my dorm room, deep in a gaming session and absolutely crushing it. Suddenly, my roommate Leo burst through the door, looking like he'd seen a ghost. Holy crap. Ethan, downstairs. The campus queen is downstairs. She's asking for you by name. Who? I didn't even look up, my fingers flying across the keyboard. Campus queen? You read too many web novels. This is a state school, not a fairy tale. More like the campus joke. Leo stomped his foot in frustration. Chloe Sullivan. It's Chloe Sullivan. His voice was trembling. My hand slipped. My character on the screen died instantly. Chloe Sullivan? The legendary goddess from the business school, as cold and untouchable as an ice sculpture. The one who shot down every guy who ever tried and supposedly had a 3-yard no-man's zone around her at all times. She was looking for me? I walked out onto the balcony and looked down. Sure enough, a crowd had gathered below our dorm, whispering and pointing. In the center of it all stood a girl in a simple white sundress. Poised, with long hair cascading down her back and skin as pale as snow, it was unmistakably Chloe. She stood there quietly, as if the commotion around her didn't exist, her calm gaze fixed on our dorm building. My heart skipped a beat. This was a scene. I frowned, a strange sense of unease creeping over me. I'd been about to head down, but I pulled back and sat down in my chair again. Dude, aren't you going? Leo couldn't believe it. He saw me calmly start up a new game. This was the campus queen, and she came to see me. If it were him, he'd probably have jumped off the balcony to get to her faster. I kept my hands on the keyboard, my voice steady. Chill out, Leo. How can I chill out? You. He suddenly stopped talking. Leo, I've got a bad feeling about this. If I go, something's gonna happen. Can you do me a favor and... Before I could finish, a wave of cold air washed over me. I looked up and saw a mob of shirtless guys from my dorm glaring at me from the hallway, cracking their knuckles. You're really gonna make her wait down there? I heard the sound of teeth grinding and swallowed hard. Like I'm scared of you guys. 5 minutes later, under the intense gaze of countless curious, jealous, and disbelieving eyes, I forced myself to walk downstairs. Chloe saw me. Her eyes rested on my face for a few seconds. Her voice was clear and emotionless. Ethan Reed, that's me. Can I help you with something, Chloe? I tried to act casual. Can we talk somewhere else? Her tone was flat, but it held a hint of command. I nodded and followed her away from the gawking crowd, the sound of their frantic whispers following us. In a private booth at a quiet cafe near campus, Chloe got straight to the point. I've heard about you. About your ability. I knew it. I felt a sense of relief, but kept my face a mask of neutrality. You believe in that stuff? I need a boyfriend. She picked up her cup of tea, taking a delicate sip. I asked quietly, with all due respect, I can't imagine it's hard for you to find a boyfriend. If Chloe Sullivan wanted a date, the line of guys would probably wrap around the entire campus. She set her cup down and gave me a cool look. If I could, I wouldn't want to just settle. She gazed out the window, the golden sunlight illuminating her flawless face. Besides, you can't judge a book by its cover. Finding a good boyfriend means vetting his character and everything else. It takes too much time. Chloe turned back to me, a flicker of something in her eyes. I heard you can help people find their true love. I want you to help me. I looked at her. Up close, she was even more beautiful. It was a beauty that wasn't aggressive, but created an immense distance. Like a perfectly carved crystal, gorgeous but cold to the touch. No wonder so many guys crashed and burned trying to get her attention. But what did I care? A paying customer was a paying customer. My rules are, I started leaning back. I know. She cut me off, pulling a debit card from her purse and placing it gently on the table. 10,000 for the deposit. The PIN is 6 zeros. When I find him, you get another 20,000 as the final payment. How much? I fought to keep the grin off my face. This girl was loaded, direct, and to the point. My favorite kind of client. You're the boss, I said, giving her a thumbs up. Chloe just raised an eyebrow. I went through my standard procedure. Just a few things to confirm. First, you're currently single, with no one you're seeing or any lingering attachments, correct? Correct. Second, my service includes necessary dates. Physical contact, like holding hands, is unavoidable. I'll need your full cooperation. Can you agree to that? Her eyelashes fluttered, but her voice was steady. I can. Third, and this is the most important one, I looked directly into her clear eyes. The moment you confirm you've found your soulmate, our arrangement terminates immediately. You will pay the final balance, and we will have no further contact in any form. Can you do that? Chloe looked up, her gaze sharp as it swept over me. You think I would cling to you? Rules are rules, I said with a shrug. It's better for everyone. She was silent for a few seconds, then nodded. Fine. I pocketed the card, my heart singing. Chloe Sullivan. This was a huge contract, and the pay was incredible. If this worked out, I could coast for the next year. Pleasure doing business with you. Girlfriend, I said, extending my hand with a smile. She glanced at my hand, but didn't take it, simply saying, I don't have class tomorrow afternoon. I'll come find you. We'll start our first date. I didn't know why she was in such a hurry to find a boyfriend, but that was the client's business. My job was to meet her needs. As long as the money was good, I was good. And just like that, Chloe and I became the campus couple. The news, of course, caused an uproar. The university's subreddit exploded. Countless guys were heartbroken, all wondering who the hell this Ethan Reed guy was and what kind of spell he'd cast on the untouchable Chloe Sullivan. When I walked around campus, I could feel the searing glares from every direction, like they were trying to set me on fire with their minds. I, however, remained completely unfazed. Acting was my profession, after all. Chloe, I'm here to pick you up. I'd wait outside her classroom. The second the bell rang, I'd walk in, ever the attentive boyfriend, with a warm tea ready for her. It's getting chilly out. You have to stay warm. I'd pull out a scarf, and after confirming she didn't look disgusted, I'd wrap it around her neck. Chloe played her part well, too. At first, she'd hesitate when I reached for her hand. Now, she linked her arm through mine without a second thought. We studied together in the library. We ate dinner together in the dining hall. We saw movies on weekends. We took long walks across campus. We went hiking and shopping downtown. I meticulously logged all of Chloe's habits, preferences, and things she hated. There's a reason I have a perfect 5-star rating. Even in a fake relationship, you have to be attentive. That's how you give the client a good experience, especially a high-paying one like Chloe. For that kind of money, she wasn't just buying a result. She was buying the service. At the same time, I was constantly scouting the people who came near us. Men, women, I assessed all of them, evaluating their potential. I left no stone unturned. Yes, even women. You'd be a fool to rule that out. While her soulmate would eventually show up, speeding up the process was always ideal. It saved me time and made for a more satisfied customer. I used every trick in my playbook, applying my self-developed soulmate induction theory, carefully observing everyone who came into Chloe's orbit. Tall, short, nerdy, jock, artsy, athletic. I scanned them all like a radar, trying to pinpoint the one who might be him. But something was wrong. Very wrong. The guys who used to flock to Chloe were disappointed to hear she was taken, but some of the more confident ones figured if a nobody like me could win her over, maybe they stood a chance too. They tried to approach her when I wasn't around, hoping they were the exception. Some even tried to challenge me directly to get her attention, or, having heard rumors about my business, figured they might just be her destined soulmate. But the result was always the same. They all crashed and burned. Chloe's attitude toward them was colder than a Siberian winter. She wouldn't just not smile. She wouldn't even give them the time of day. They'd barely get 2 words out before she'd shut them down with an "I see. Can I help you?" or simply ignore them completely, leaving them frozen in place before they'd retreat in humiliation. 1 time, 2 times. A month passed, then 2. Still no progress. Most guys were repelled before they even got close. One guy tried the old enemies to lovers trope, thinking his cold indifference would pique her interest. After a few months of getting absolutely nowhere, he finally gave up and asked her what was up. Her only reply was, "Who are you?" The guy's face went white, and he looked like he was about to collapse. Chloe hadn't even registered his existence. The only development was that Chloe and I had both put on a little weight. "What are you thinking about?" Chloe asked softly, her voice much gentler than it used to be. I snapped out of my thoughts, watching the latest suitor stumble away with a frown. I turned to her. "What? What's your type anyway?" It was raining outside, a light drizzle. Chloe held her hand out to catch the drops, her voice distant. "Figuring out what type my soulmate is. Isn't that your job?" She turned to look at me, her expression placid. She was right. My job was to find her soulmate. But, seeing the complete lack of progress, I felt helpless. As I sighed, Chloe started walking. "Let's just let it happen naturally. You can't force these things." I quickly raised the umbrella to cover both of us. Our footsteps splashed in the puddles. Suddenly, Chloe stopped and gave me a meaningful look. But when you're desperate, you have to take desperate measures. For the first time, she smiled. It was beautiful, but seeing it sent a shiver down my spine. "Come on, my boyfriend," she said, drawing out the words. I snapped back to reality, silently telling myself I had to work faster, had to find this guy. If you can't find him, you have to give me my money back. No way. I'll definitely find him. I hurried to catch up, but it turned out I was being naive. This woman might have been my kryptonite. Nearly half a year went by, and there wasn't even a shadow of Chloe's soulmate. The soulmate premonition always got never kicked in. My experience had taught me that I could sense the moment a client found their true love. It was how I always managed to show up at the right time. This ability was crucial. It kept clients from finding their guy and then dragging things out to avoid paying the final bill, and it let me wrap up my contracts quickly. But now, I was starting to panic. This defied all logic. My ability had never failed before. My fastest clients found someone in 3 or 4 days, the slowest in under a month. Why was it completely malfunctioning with Chloe? What went wrong? I even started to wonder if my service was lacking. Was our relationship not convincing enough to fool my own power? So, I tried to get more into character. On dates, I'd reach for her hand. She'd stiffen slightly, but wouldn't pull away, her fingers cool in mine. I put my arm around her shoulder. Her body trembled, but she didn't resist. They say a woman's feet are a private area. When Chloe twisted her ankle, I took a risk, knelt down, and massaged it for her, applying the ointment myself. I brought her breakfast, checked on her when she was sick, and sat with her when she had a cold. I took her to see fields of wildflowers and endless plains. We went on picnics and hikes. We prayed for luck at a temple during the day and grabbed food from a street truck at night. When some local punks tried to harass her, I broke my usual cautious character and dealt with them quickly. I did it all to build intimacy, to trigger the effect, to finish the job. Through all of this, Chloe seemed to glow with health and vitality. I, on the other hand, was exhausted, collapsing into bed every night. Perhaps sensing my frustration, Chloe looked at me one evening, her eyes half-lidded. Maybe you're still not doing enough. Not doing enough? That was the one thing you couldn't say to me. It was a direct attack on my professional pride. She leaned against my bed frame, just watching me, blinking slowly. Maybe we should move in together. I broke into a coughing fit. Move in together? Wasn't that taking things a little too far? I sank into thought. Seeing me hesitate, Chloe pressed on. My situation might be special, so we need to take special measures. Maybe if we live together, you'll be able to complete the mission. Besides, it's been a long time. Could it be that your ability isn't working? Her words echoed in my head, a demonic chant. All I could think was complete the mission and ability isn't working. With a loud thwack, I slapped my bed, my eyes filled with resolve. Fine. Chloe stared at me, a small smile playing on her lips. But lost in my fantasy of finally completing the job, I didn't notice. We moved in together. We rented a 2-bedroom apartment off campus. Chloe paid the rent, which made me feel a bit awkward. Don't worry about it. It was my idea, and it's part of the mission, so of course I'm paying, she said as she stepped inside. I followed her in and was immediately impressed. The place was great, cozily decorated and fully furnished. There were even little stuffed animals and cute trinkets placed around. You could tell the owner was a warm person. I glanced at the cool, aloof Chloe. It was surprisingly out of character. Maybe she felt my gaze because she turned and gave me a look, a slight smile on her lips. Come on, I'll show you your room. She led the way, and I followed, letting out a breath. Time flew by. The good news: our relationship was becoming genuinely close. The bad news: Chloe's soulmate was still nowhere to be found. We were together constantly. We did everything a couple would do, short of making out. We fed each other bites of food, held hands walking across campus. At home, we'd curl up on the couch to watch TV, cook together, and pick out furniture. I was at a complete loss. Her soulmate was a ghost. Could it be? I looked over at Chloe, who was sitting on the sofa reading a book. Could this woman be so universally despised that even fate wouldn't give her a soulmate? A shiver ran down my spine. What a sad thought. As if she had eyes in the back of her head, her cool voice drifted over. Thinking about me again? I swear, the woman was psychic. I put on a cheerful grin. Of course not. You're imagining things. Chloe put her book down and glanced at the new mattress and bedding I was dragging in. What's this? I scratched my head, embarrassed. The mattress you got is nice and all, but I don't think I'm used to it. Chloe's eyes flickered. What do you mean? Ever since we moved in, I explained, I've been waking up with a sore back. I was thinking maybe the mattress is too soft. Chloe was silent for a moment. Then she just said, whatever, and went back to her book. I shrugged and dragged the new mattress into my room. As I passed her, I glanced over. By the way, you're holding your book upside down. After I said that, she snapped the book shut with a loud clap, looking slightly annoyed. Go to sleep. She stood up and walked toward her room, then paused and pointed to the glass of milk on the coffee table. I already had mine. That one's for you. I nodded. Got it. Thanks. Since moving in, Chloe had synced my life to hers. That included a glass of milk every night before bed. And I had to admit, my sleep quality was amazing. After getting everything set up, I collapsed onto my new, firmer mattress. Sleepiness washed over me almost instantly. Vaguely, I thought I heard someone call my name, but I was too tired to respond. Day after day passed. Still no progress. Chloe and I became the picture-perfect couple on campus. Good-looking and always together. I played the role of the devoted boyfriend to a T, just waiting, praying for someone to swoop in and steal her away. But nobody came. The final payment felt like a distant dream. My golden reputation was about to be tarnished by this one impossible case. Lately, I hadn't been feeling like myself either. My friends started teasing me. Looks like you finally fell for one, Ethan. Is it for real this time? You actually in love with the campus queen? Get out of here. Like I'm the type to catch real feelings. This was purely professional anxiety. Then, graduation season arrived. All around me, campus couples were breaking up, going their separate ways. And I was still stuck in this unfinished contract with Chloe. I finally hit my breaking point. My ability was broken. This was one job I just couldn't finish. I asked Chloe to meet me in that little grove of trees on campus, the famous breakup spot. My heart was heavy, mostly for the 20 grand I was about to lose. This was a massive failure. Chloe arrived, looking as cool and composed as ever. With graduation so close, she seemed even more beautiful, but also more unreadable. Chloe, I took a deep breath and held out the debit card with her $10,000 deposit. I can't do this anymore. Here's your money back. I'm sorry. I don't think I can help you. She looked at the card in my hand, but didn't take it. She just asked quietly why. I sighed. My ability doesn't work on you. It's been this long, and there hasn't been a single sign of your soulmate. I clutched the card. My beautiful money. I'm so sorry to see you go. If I keep pretending to be your boyfriend, I'm just holding you back. I know this is a transaction, but I have professional ethics. I can't keep dragging this out knowing I can't deliver. This money feels like a lead weight in my pocket. I expected her to be disappointed, or at least to ask more questions. But she just stared at me for a long, long time. So long that I started to get creeped out. Then, the corner of her mouth twitched upward in a barely perceptible smile. Keep it, she said. Huh. I was stunned. I said, you don't have to return the money, she repeated, her voice calm. You're not holding me back. But, Chloe cut me off, turned to leave, then stopped. With her back to me, she said, Happy graduation, Ethan. And then she was gone, leaving me standing there in the evening breeze, clutching the card, completely bewildered. Keep the money? She wished me a happy graduation? What? What was going on? Did she feel bad for wasting so much of my time? I couldn't figure it out, but I quickly convinced myself to let it go. Who cares? As long as I didn't lose any money. The deposit was mine, so my time hadn't been a complete waste. I just write the Chloe case off as a weird anomaly and move on. A wave of relief washed over me, like a heavy weight had been lifted from my shoulders. So my power failed once. Maybe Chloe was just a special case. The real world was waiting for me. Graduation, moving out, sending resumes, interviews. I soon landed a decent job at a pretty good company and became another proud corporate drone. The busy work schedule pushed everything else out of my mind. I put the failed contract and Chloe Sullivan behind me. Life fell into a 9-to-5 rhythm. The occasional happy hour with coworkers, the daily grind. It was dull, but stable. Once I was settled, that old itch to get back in the game started acting up. The allure of that fast, easy money was just too strong. I pulled up my old client list and got in touch with a girl from a few years below me. I had to turn her down back then because I'd just taken Chloe's case. We had a great chat on the phone and agreed to meet up on the weekend to discuss the details. After hanging up, I was in a fantastic mood. The market was still there. That night, I stayed late to finish an urgent project, getting home close to 11. I was dead tired. I took a quick shower and fell into bed, losing consciousness almost instantly. I was sleeping soundly until a powerful feeling of being restrained shocked me awake. I opened my eyes. This wasn't my room. I tried to move and realized my hands and feet were tied down with something soft but strong. My heart stopped, and a cold sweat broke out all over my body. What the hell was going on? Was I being kidnapped? Through a crack in the heavy curtains, a sliver of moonlight allowed me to make out the shapes around me. This room, my eyes scanned the walls, and the blood in my veins turned to ice. The walls were covered in photos. Dozens of them. All of me. Me eating in the cafeteria. Me walking down the street. Me waiting for the bus outside my office. Me grocery shopping on a weekend. Me in a jersey, playing basketball at the community court. There were even a few taken from creepy angles, clearly through a window. Pictures of me at home, wearing nothing but boxers right after a shower. A chill shot up from the soles of my feet to the top of my head. What kind of psycho was this? Creak. The door opened slowly. A slender, feminine silhouette stood against the light from a hallway. She flicked on a dim wall lamp inside the room. The soft light illuminated her face. Cool, beautiful, and completely devoid of expression. It was Chloe Sullivan. She was wearing a silk nightgown and slowly walked to the side of the bed, looking down at me. Her eyes, which I once found so clear and mysterious, were now swirling with a strange, dark emotion. She reached out, her cool fingers gently tracing the lines of my face. The touch was unnervingly possessive. She looked at me and smiled, a smile of twisted satisfaction. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice soft. "You're finally all mine." "What the hell? Chloe, are you insane? What are you doing? Let me go. What am I doing?" She tilted her head, her eyes locked on me with a look of pure obsession. "I'm catching my soulmate." What? You were helping me look for him, weren't you?" Her fingers traced my eyebrows, my eyes, my nose, and finally rested on my lips. "But you're so dense. You looked for so long and couldn't find him." Her voice held a playful pout, but it sent shivers down my spine. I swallowed hard. "Didn't we end our contract?" Chloe brought her finger to her own lips, as if savoring a taste, a look of bliss on her face. She smiled again. "When did I ever agree to end a contract?" I was dumbfounded. "Graduation day, didn't we?" Then something clicked in my mind, a horrifying realization. Chloe had never, not once, said the contract was over. I had just assumed it was. She noticed a change in my expression. "We weren't even finished, and you already dared to contact another girl." She patted my cheek, her voice dropping to a low growl. "Is that what you call cheating?" I swallowed again, my voice trembling. Is it too late to terminate the contract now?" I looked at her. She just kept smiling that terrifying smile. "Say something." Her stare was making my skin crawl. Chloe looked at me intently, then let out a soft laugh. "What do you think?" "So, no negotiating. But if you have me tied up, how am I supposed to help you look?" I tried a different angle, forcing a smile. "Why don't you untie me, and we can talk this out like reasonable people?" But Chloe just kept smiling. "There's no need. I've already found him." "Found him?" I was shocked. "Well, congratulations, Chloe. So can you let me?" As I watched in confusion, she leaned in close, her mouth next to my ear. Her breath was warm and moist, and she said the words that blew my world apart. "It was always you, Ethan." My mind went blank. Me? How could it be me? Every girl I dated found someone else and left me. My brain spun frantically, and after 0.8 seconds, it hit me. Oh crap. I'd overlooked one critical possibility, that I could be someone else's soulmate. As soon as the thought formed, my premonition ability flared up with the force of a supernova. Every hair on my body stood on end. It felt like it really was me. No, how could something this ridiculous happen? And with a delay? "I've been watching you, you know. Ever since the first time I saw you," Chloe said with a smile. "The first time?" She nodded. "Yes, the very first time. At the train station during freshman orientation. Someone stole my phone and my wallet. I was completely lost and helpless. I tried to remember. Nothing. But Chloe helped jog my memory, her cheek resting on her hand, her face flushed with a sickly, sweet smile. That day I was in such a bad mood. I snapped at everyone who tried to help, thinking they had bad intentions. But you just wouldn't leave me alone, chattering away in my ear. You were so annoying. Was I really that bad? It must be a trick of her memory. But, Chloe continued, when that annoying person puffed out his chest and said he'd take care of everything. I was stunned. And then later, she looked at me, still smiling. Later, you came back all beaten up with cuts on your face, but you were still grinning like an idiot. I knew then that you were different from me. You had sunlight in you. Chloe caressed my cheek. From that day on, I watched you. I watched you eat, watched you run, watched you in class. She ran a hand over the photos on the wall, a nostalgic look on her face. You were always with other girls to make money. I wondered, were you really that desperate? and slowly I started to feel uncomfortable seeing you with them. She touched her chest. It felt tight right here. I never felt that before. I thought maybe I was sick. Then I thought, if you need money so badly, maybe I could be the one to give it to you. I have money, so I found you, and it worked. When I was with you, the tightness in my chest went away. But watching you try so hard for me, I was happy, but also a little angry. Her tone took on a hint of resentment. I was cooperating so perfectly, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to look at me. But you were always looking somewhere else, waiting for a soulmate that didn't exist. And then you try to leave me? To find another woman. She sat up straight, her eyes suddenly sharp and cold. I couldn't wait any longer. Since you're as dense as a brick, I decided to take matters into my own hands. Don't worry, she cooed, her smile returning, wild and unhinged. I'll be gentle. She didn't give me another chance to speak. She leaned down and pressed her lips to mine, silencing all my terror and protests. Her cool silk nightgown slid from her shoulders. In the darkness, all I could feel was her feverish breath and her obsessive kisses, wrapping around me like a spider's web, pulling me tighter and tighter. Whatever. To say I didn't feel anything for Chloe at all, that would be a lie. The next day, I woke up aching all over. Chloe was asleep next to me, her arm wrapped tightly around my waist. She looked peaceful, a serene smile on her lips. It was a stark contrast to the crazy, possessive woman from the night before. Geez, she really didn't hold back. My back was killing me. I tried to slowly get out of bed, but in the next second, I was pushed back down. I looked up into Chloe's predatory gaze. Are you trying to run away? Seeing the sharp, yet wounded look in her eyes, I sighed. No, I just really need to use the bathroom. I'm about to burst. Chloe stared at me for a moment, then scrambled off me, blushing. Haha, well, you should have said so. You didn't ask. I shot back, rolling my eyes before making a break for the bathroom. Even then, I could feel her eyes on me the whole time. Seriously? Does she trust me that little? To be honest, my ability had screwed me over so many times that I'd given up on love. Now that I knew I was her soulmate, what was there to be afraid of? But Chloe didn't seem to see it that way. Are you going to leave me? She'd ask, holding a rope, ready to pounce. I'd swallow hard and just pull her into a hug. Her body would stiffen, then relax as she hugged me back. Holding her close, I'd whisper, I won't. As long as you don't leave me, I'll never leave you. Chloe's eyes would get red, and she'd hold me even tighter. We settled into a routine. I moved in with Chloe, back into the same apartment from college. She was always clinging to me, never wanting to be more than an inch away. I didn't mind. It was just insecurity. To be fair, I was a little insecure myself. If she decided to tie me up again for another day-long session, I'd probably be done for her. So, we lived like a normal, loving couple. We'd cook dinner together after work, go shopping, see movies, and cuddle on the couch watching TV. Slowly, Chloe started to realize I wasn't going anywhere, and she began to relax her grip a little. Thank you, babe, I said, hugging her emotionally. It was mainly because she'd finally stopped following me into the bathroom. I was getting a little weird. Chloe blushed, her eyes twinkling with a mischievous light. But you'll have to make it up to me in other ways. Before I could even process what she meant, she tackled me onto the couch. Oh, she meant that way. As they say, every drop of water helps the fruit grow. I don't know how much time passed, but one day, we were eating dinner when she suddenly gagged and ran for the bathroom. What's wrong? I rushed after her. We should go to the hospital. Before I could finish, she seemed to have a realization. A moment later, she came out of the bathroom, her hands behind her back, a huge smile on her face. Honey, I started. She brought her hands forward, revealing a small plastic stick. Is that? I crossed the room in 2 strides, my fingers trembling as I looked closer. You're pregnant. Chloe nodded, her face beaming. She leaned in and whispered in my ear, now you can never leave me. I carefully wrapped my arms around her. I was never going to leave you. And besides, I'm actually a little jealous. Jealous? She asked, confused. I let her go and grinned. This kid gets to meet you from birth, and I had to wait over 20 years to get lucky. Wouldn't you be jealous? My ridiculous line made her burst out laughing. We went to the doctor for all the checkups. The baby was healthy. During that time, our roles completely reversed. She used to be the one clinging to me, and now I was the one who wouldn't leave her side. Honey, I could do it myself, she'd protest when I followed her to the bathroom door. What if you slip and fall? I'd say, watching her. She'd look at me with exasperation and sigh. You're just getting me back, aren't you? I'd just laugh. Tit for tat. Time flew by. Before I knew it, our daughter was 5 years old. I still remember the day Chloe went into labor. I was an absolute wreck. But looking at her now, holding her mom's hand as she skipped out of school with a little backpack on, my heart was full. Our daughter saw me and came running over. Daddy, she yelled, then immediately started tattling. Mommy said she kidnapped you. Is that true? I looked over at Chloe. The Ice Queen was long gone, replaced by a woman full of warmth and gentleness. She just smiled at me. I smiled back at our daughter. Do you want to hear the story of how Mommy and I met? She puffed out her cheeks and nodded furiously. Yes, yes. I picked her up and started walking home, telling her our story, with some of the more adult parts edited out, of course. Chloe walked beside us, a soft, loving look in her eyes. When I finished, our daughter was practically vibrating with excitement. I want to kidnap someone too. I'm going to kidnap Liam from my class. He's so... She went on and on about the little boy. A strange smile formed on my face. Is Liam the little boy with the mole under his eye? She nodded happily. I handed our daughter to Chloe, turned around, and started walking back toward the school. Daddy, where are you going? My daughter called out. Without looking back, I yelled, Daddy's going to have a little talk with this Liam kid. That little punk. How dare he?